Welcome to the Synchronicities saga, a special segment of the Christina Kiss Energy Channel where the universe speaks in signs, timing is never random, and the dots connect in ways you never imagined. My name is Christina Kiss, and I'll be your storyteller, or maybe just the observer, as I document the wild, mind-bending synchronicities that unfold when I lean into trust and let the unseen forces guide the way. Because when you start paying attention, life stops being ordinary and starts feeling like a perfectly orchestrated masterpiece. So let's dive in and see the next twist in this saga. Now, on the 3rd of January 2025, I am prompted to get two free tickets to the Psychic Fair and Arts Show for February 22nd, 2025. Now, I have no clue why it prompted me to get two tickets until the day of the fair. Okay, mind you, this is a month and a half before it actually happened, right? Now, one of my friends comes to California. Okay, she just happened to be in town for some convention and all that. And she has her hotel in Newport, and that is where she had her stuff. And then she comes to pick me up on the 22nd of February, okay? And I get a very, but very strong pull to take her to the fair, okay? As we park, I share with her that out of all the hotels that I could have booked to stay, meanwhile, they were working on electricity on my building. As I was doing a course, I chose to stay at this hotel that we were actually going to. Also, the first time that I came here, an Egyptian friend picked me up. Now I come here with her, and her parents are of Egyptian descent. Coincidence? Maybe not. Now, again, this is already a lot of synchronicities here happening. Okay. So, in total, I've been to that hotel 3 times. And you're going to notice as we not only go through this episode of the saga, but continuous episodes, how the number three is present. Okay. Now, next we go in and she's like, after you. And I'm like, no, no, no. I wanted you to be here. So after you. So she goes around and I follow her and she stops at a place where she starts telling me about this product and what it does. And as she starts telling me about it, I start tearing up and I started to cry. And I knew that my soul recognized that, and eventually I will start using it myself. Okay. This technology is called a life wave, and it's supposed to reflect your inner light back into you and heal your body and promote the growth of your stem cells or something along those lines. Now, when the people that were affiliated to that product, because it's an affiliate product, okay, when they started to talk, I had no interest in it anymore. However, since my friend knows my values, she knew how to present the product in a way that speaks to my soul. Okay. And one of the ladies, she was actually scheduled to talk that day at 3:30 p.m. So she looks at the clock and she's like, well, we got about 2.5 hours to kill. So from there, she finds a place with one of these like foot bath things, and they're supposed to take out the toxins of you and help your body, produce more stem cells. And she recognized that, and we both get one of those foot baths. And this person said that they make them, okay, this person actually makes them, and how to distinguish the fake from the real one, okay? Now, this one actually puts a current through you, and you need to be grounded. And those off of Amazon do not do that, okay? And what it got out of me was pretty impressive. Okay. I also saw how the first technology and the foot bath would go together in my daily or weekly routine. However, it's a not right now type of thing. Okay. I also understood how adding these two things into my mindset work that I already do will enhance my longevity. Okay. Now, from there, we went around and she found someone that does hypnosis and she was curious about it. And I noticed that the more that this lady spoke, the less my friend was interested in it. So she didn't end up getting a hypnosis session with her and instead opted to go to the speaker area and wait the 30 minutes until the lady with the LifeWave patches came in to talk. Meanwhile, we wait, I get a text from the person that did my breakthrough experience back in December of 2022, the first breakthrough experience that I had. And she asks me if I completed my internship with Dr. John DeMartini. And I reply yes. And I put the phone back in my pocket and I entered the speaker room. And it seemed that the reason why my friend was uninterested to get that hypnosis reading from that lady is because she was actually the speaker right before the one that we were there to see. So it made sense to both of us why she didn't feel a pull to do this earlier. So we started the hypnosis, and for me, it wasn't that much difference from what I do for myself. However, I was able to release some things, and she had us imagine three dragons as we walked into the forest. One was self-doubt, one was fear, and the third one, I really forgot what that was. And I was like, this is so fitting because I was doubting myself is if I was good enough to facilitate with this person that contacted me earlier. Um, and I had a feeling where that conversation was going to end up. So after the hypnosis ends, we remain still in place, and my friend and I tell my friend because I knew that it wanted the first time they wanted me to go to that psychic fair and art show, um, is because they wanted me to have a booth in there. And I'm like, but I don't know what to do. Like I know to do so many things. Like how do I rein it in and only do one thing? And I also knew that I needed another person because when I am in a session, I cannot be bothered to, answer questions and all that. And also, it was very, very noisy in the room. But I'm like, here, it's not that noisy, and I could actually do and probably an epigenetic healing where I actually am able to just listen and see what comes through because it's not as noisy. So I'm like, okay, I could do that here. And so at least I solved that problem. Okay. And I'm like, okay, we can do this here. Now, as the woman with the patches comes in and starts talking, a lot of other synchronicities started to happen from her speech. And me and my friend just keep on looking at each other like, oh my God, like again, this and this and this, because it was so in sync with what she was saying, with what we were experiencing. It was just mind-boggling. So she says that when she was done, she's like, if you want to, have a patch on, we can patch you up and just come outside. So me and her and two other people go outside, and she asks me, where do you want to patch? So I close my eyes and I ask myself, where do you want to patch? And I'm like, right here. Okay. And she's like, well, does it hurt here? And I say, no, this is just where it wants to patch. So she puts one exactly where I told her to put one, and then she puts one on the back of my neck, which I told my friend as we were leaving that I knew she's going to put one on the back of my neck before she did. Okay. And we wanted to leave. However, before I did, it wanted me to go and inquire about becoming a speaker at the fair and about that place to do that. And I went back in the main place and I asked about that, and I was told that I need to contact the person in charge. And my friend goes, "Is he here?" And they're like, "Yes." And so we get his name and we get kind of a rough description, and we go back into the place where everyone was. So I close my eyes and I'm like, "Where are you?" Okay, my intuition told me to go straight down the middle and then to the left. So naturally, I panicked and I went to the left first, just to like circle around and see the same person and told us like, "Hey, this person is here," and pointed us where he actually was. And guess where he was pointing us to? Straight down the middle. Exactly where my intuition told me that he's going to be. So we go and find him, and guess where we end up after talking to him a bit, because he's like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I do a lot of stuff." So he's like, "Oh, I'm intrigued." So we end up exactly where my intuition told me we would end up, all the way at the bottom to the left. That is exactly where we ended up. And after sharing with him what I do, he said that I have to do a demo for him or someone on his team before I can become a speaker. And I said I could do that, and we exchanged numbers to set something up at a later time. And at the end, he gave me his birth information because he was an astrologer. And I mentioned that I did astrology as well. So he volunteered the information. I didn't even ask him. Okay. And after we left from there and we were going to the crystal shop, my friend told me that she doesn't think that this is a good idea for me. Okay. And I said that I see this as a stepping stone, because right now what I do is online. So I have a lot of people that I can talk to online. I've held 50 plus people classes and all that, and I'm very comfortable speaking online. This is taking it from online and putting it in person. And she was like, "Yeah, I'm not convinced about it. I'm not convinced that this is a step up or a step down from what it is that you're doing right now." Um, so we went into the crystal shop and I was still, trying to figure everything out. And as we were in the crystal shop, um, she was we were trying to figure out some crystals that we're going to both have because she wanted to do this thing with me. So I'm like, "Okay, fine." And she's like, "Well, based on what it is that you know about me, what crystals do I need?" And I'm like, "Well, you have 100% issues with stepping into your power, so you're going to need citron. Citron is the stone of the solar plexus." So she's like, "Okay, fine." So I got her some citron, and the little lady overheard us, and she's like, "So what does this stone do? And what does this stone do?" And she's like, "I have this and this and this issue." And she showed me that she had a rash, and she's like, "It just comes and goes." And I'm like, "Okay, so when did the rash first start?" And she's like, "No, I don't know," and all that. Like, "Yes, you do know." When did the rash first started? Because a rash is usually a sign that you're hiding something that you don't want people to see. And she's like, "Oh no, I'm not hiding anything." And as we kept on conversating, she's like, "Well, I was trying to protect my son from my parents and all that." I'm like, "Uh-huh, that's what you're hiding. That's what you don't want people to see." And she's like, "Oh, okay." So whenever, this is general, whenever there's an eruption on the skin, like for me it was acne, that's because I didn't want anyone to see my face. But in me not wanting to see my face, I drew more attention to my face. Okay. So anytime you have something to do with your skin, that is the main reason, is because you're trying to hide something. You're trying to hide a part of you. So naturally you're gonna attract more attention to that. Okay. So after we were done with that, and we go have dinner and she takes me home and all that, um I get a prompt to have her read her Sagittarius North Node. Okay, which again, North Node from astrology, North Node is what you came here to do this lifetime. South Node is what you did in past lives, and now it's out of balance. So in past lives, she has a Gemini North Node. Okay, so Gemini is very, very highly intelligent, and you will notice that there are six polarities. Okay, mine is Aquarius, Leo. So Aquarius is the female energy because it is the visionary, it's the intuition, all of that. And Leo is the doing, it's the masculine energy. And we all have a masculine energy within us. Okay. It's our operating system. Some of us could be like I used to be very my masculine, and now I'm shifting for from my South Node in Leo to my feminine in Aquarius. And then she was the same. So she in her dynamic, the Gemini is very, very intellectual. Okay, Gemini is very intellectual, is very in the mind. That's the male energy. And then she's shifting into Sagittarius, which again, it's the female, it's the intuition, it's the fallow, it's literally the freaking prophet. Okay. So I had her read that. She's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm like, yes, yes, I know. I had the same oh my God moments when I read mine. She's like, oh my God, this is why this happened. This is why this happened. Oh my God, this makes sense. So we done that, and after we didn't finish it because it's quite extensive. So she went home. Okay. Now the next day, I'm like, I could see the two parallel storylines going like this parallel with each other. And I'm like, so I have a choice. And I could clearly see the choice. Okay. I have a choice. I either go with this person at the Psychic Fair Arts. I pay $250 for the booth. I do the demo for them, and I pay for a lot of other materials and that I will need for the booth and all that. Okay. And I don't know if and how many clients I'm going to get there or later on. Or I can take that money, put it into Facebook ads, which I am gearing up to do, and have more reach like that. Okay. I also looked at the astrology between me and this person. Okay. And I'm like, I'm not sure why I have the sense that if I go down on the road with him, like it's going to be like not stifling, but like I'm playing small. So with him, I feel like I'm gonna play small, and with her, I'm like I'm called to do bigger things. Okay. So when I do the astrology between me and him, guess what comes out? My South Node is conjunct his Pluto, and I'm like, out of all the freaking conjunctions, this is one that I do not want to enter in because I know Pluto's the planet of transformation. So he was a very transformational person in my life, in a past life, and I did something to him, and he would need to figure out a way to break out of that contract. And I'm like, I don't necessarily know if I want to go down that road right now. So I'm like, probably not. Okay. So then again, I see the parallels. Okay. One playing small, one playing big. One I'll have to pay $250 plus other materials for the booth and all that. And on the other side, I'm getting paid $500 and probably get more high quality clients because I work with them at a different level. I also looked at the quality of the people I would be working with because he does not do any of the deep shadow work. Okay, whatever you want to call it, either shadow work or either going through your limiting beliefs and stories and dissolving them. So he doesn't do that. In my conversation with him, he reflected that perfectly. Her, on the other hand, she does all that on her and with other people and all that. So I'm like, do I want to work with someone that doesn't do the work, or do I want to work with someone that does? Okay. So again, this is the universe testing my boundaries again because now I have a standard. I do not work with anyone that does not do the work, or is not willing to do the work. Okay. So instead of staying small, I chose to expand. Okay. So going back to the crystal shop that night, because I forgot to say something. um when I was talking to that woman at the end, she got my phone number and she's like, "Do you have a website?" Like, yeah, I do. So I sent her the website the next day. And I told my friend, and I think the woman was there, and she probably heard me, but I'm like, I really don't care because for me it was just so validating that when I talk to someone, like, oh my God, like people want to know what I do and people want me to help them. So I'm like, I think the universe is trying to tell me that I should work in a crystal shop because what happened even before that lady, I went with some tiger's eye to the cashier and I'm like, "Do you have any um black tourmaline um in this size?" And she's like, "I'm sorry, I just sell stuff. I don't know anything regarding to crystals." And I'm like, so then I go to my friend and I'm like, "Guess what I found out?" And she's like, "What?" "I have a charge on the cashier." And that's because how can you work in a crystal shop and not know anything about the crystals? I'm like, you kidding me? So at the cash register when we were checking out, I started laughing after I gave that woman the my phone number, and I'm like, I think the universe is trying to tell me that I should you know work in a crystal shop. And she's like, yes, you should. And I'm like, I don't know, because between me working until like 4 in the morning whenever the energy is dying down and having a 9 to 5, I don't think that that is actually feasible for me right now. And she's like, you're not gonna work in here more than a month tops. And I'm like, well, yes, I understood that, but it was quite interesting. It was quite interesting. And even at dinner, I remember she found a Turkish place, so that's where we went. They started to play Romanian songs. And I'm like, this is just weird. And I didn't say this out loud, but I said this to myself, like, can you please change the music? And it did. Um, so the next day we were supposed to again hang out and do some other stuff, and she calls me the next day and she's like, I had no clue why you wanted me to read my Sagittarius North Node last night until I caught myself about 5 times almost doing the same pattern that I usually do, and I stopped myself. Okay. And it's because of you that I'm spending the entire day with my clients strategizing for the future. And I get invited back to California 2 more times this year. Okay. And she's like, thank you. Okay. So now, the moral of the story, listen to your intuition and act on it and find out why later. So, was all of this just a coincidence, or was the universe orchestrating something far bigger behind the scenes? Every nudge, every sign, and every choice led me to a deeper realization, one I couldn't have planned even if I tried. That's the beauty of synchronicities. They always lead somewhere unexpected. But this is just one thread in the tapestry. Where will the next nudge take me? And more importantly, where is your intuition trying to lead you? Well, if this resonated, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone that needs to hear it. Drop a comment below and let me know what part of this story surprised you the most. What synchronicities have you noticed in your own life? If you're ready to break through limiting beliefs and start creating magic like this in your life, book a free discovery call with me, and you can find that link below in the description box. We'll take an hour to see if we align, and if not, I'll guide you to the right person in your journey. Stay tuned because the Synchronicity saga is far from over. In the next episode, I'll take you inside what unfolded on March 15, 2025, just one day after the Virgo full moon eclipse, under the influence of Venus and Mercury retrograde, and as we stepped into the energy of the Aries sun eclipse. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happened next. See you then.